Alrighty, we're now live. We're live with TokenGuy, the master DLMMer, and we're going to go through Meteora and HawkFi. It's going to tell us some tricks, and we'll take any questions as per normal. TokenGuy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. My pleasure. What I was thinking is you did a stream earlier, and you went through HawkFi, so I wanted to maybe move the position that we created in the previous stream of Sol and USDC, which is now out of position, and move that into HawkFi. That way we can just kind of let it do its thing. Of course, HawkFi has a fee, but it'd still be worthwhile. So anyone that's watching in, tuning now, you may want to do this because it will just kind of, we'll go step by step. You don't have to, nothing's financial advice, it's educational, of course, in nature. And then we'll take any questions as well. Sound good?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Perfect. So this was a pool that we set up a little while ago. It has earned, it is completely out of USDC. It's gone up and down, I guess, in a range. And for whatever reason, well, it's out of the range right now. So all we have is Sol, and I don't even know what I put into it. But the fantastic thing is, maybe you can send me the link of so we can work out if I did well on this or if I didn't do well on this.
The metlex.io?
Yeah, okay, metlex.io.
And so need to, when you close out the pool, you'll just need to copy your transaction link.
Perfect. So, all right. So I'm going to withdraw and close the position. It will withdraw everything.
When did you set this pool up?
A little while ago. I won't lie to you. Oh, here we are. View the transaction.
Because Sol dumped the last time you probably set it up. And so it was at like, I don't know, 230, 240 probably when you set this up. It dumped all the way down to 205. So it would have moved out of your range once it went below 228. And it came all the way back up. And so it's been sitting above 230 something today. But just now, like within the last 20 minutes, it dipped below back out of your range again, down to like 227.
Gotcha. So,
so even with the pool being well out of your range, you can see you still earned 6% between the TVL, the total amount you deposited, and the fees that you earned over time.
Right. So when we're reading this, So what exactly how much did I actually deposit at the time?
So
$1,100 worth of Sol, $1,100 worth of USDC, basically.
Yes, you can see the total down there is $2,194.76. It's on the card. You can see it down there, but you can also see it on the middle part. It says your profit and loss, where it says the $137.79 just above that right there. Yep. So you can see your total deposit. You can see the total amount of fees that you earned, and then your total withdrawal. So you actually, because Sol dumped, you withdrew less than what you put into it by roughly $115. But because you earned $253 in fees, you still profited $137, which all of that combined earns you 6%.
Awesome. So it was still, I mean, it was in there for 23 days, and ideally I should be compounding it, but that's why we're using HawkFi for this one.
If you would have been compounding it, you probably would have been at like 10 or 12% for 23 days.
Yeah. Which is obviously the goal.
Also rebalancing, but yeah.
Yeah. Now you've got a referral code for hawkfi.ag. So we're going to use your referral today, and then we'll paste it in the comments. And anybody watching this, use a TokenGuys referral as a sharer of knowledge.
I can just put it in the comments right here, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Here, I'll let you post it. I'm gonna put it in our chat because it says I have to connect differently to post it through there.
Gotcha. Yep. All right. So this is HawkFi referral for anyone playing along.
Yeah, and you can show them. You can put it in the top right up there. Yeah.
All right, so I connect the wallet first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And then
Click access. Yeah.
this gives me mine, I think.
This will give you yours, but it also allows you to put one in. HawkFi makes sure, like when you set up, anytime you've been out of HawkFi and you come back in and you're accessing like the dashboard or just any sort of information, it'll ask you to sign a message again to confirm it is you. Now with the referral, you probably don't need to do that again, but it did ask you to do it there. The 69,000 HP Hawk points is just like a placeholder. The points are coming; they're not there yet, but yeah.
Perfect. All right, we'll see how well we do compared to you. All right. So welcome to everyone joining the stream. We will take some questions afterwards. We'll quickly put in the Sol and USDC into this pool, let it, set it up how we think it should go based on the knowledge of TokenGuy. And just keep in mind that in the previous video we did, TokenGuy showed us on a website that, if you compound your position, if it's earning 1.5% per day, you can get this position to over 400,000 from, what was the initial you put in? 2,000?
Potentially, yeah. It just depends. I'm not sure when we did that, but yeah.
I think
you
it was
said
about 2,000
if you do 2,000 at 1% a day.
Exactly. It was sizable. And of course,
for 1 year it goes from 2,000 it goes to 75,000 if you do 1% a day.
Yeah. So 1.5 was a bit more for sure. And then we'll go over later on this live stream Gooch coin, which TokenGuy covered earlier on his own stream. But for now, we'll just jump into the Sol USDC, and I'd love to just you guide us on what you did on your stream earlier. So
yeah,
Sol, I'm not sure if I have to put in a USDC. USDC is
just
that
put a little
how it
dash
is?
between it. In no space.
No space? Okay. Perfect. So what is your preferred kind of step, and also what is your preferred fee structure?
So my preferred for Sol USDC, based on what we're currently seeing with Solana, is the 20 bin step. The reason why is the 20 bin with the 0.2% is earning a really, really high fee. You can earn higher fees on a few other pools, but they would need to be rebalanced more often. And so you may miss out on fees being earned because of that. Now, HawkFi rebalances it for you every hour, but if it's checks every hour and it just checked and then you go out of range, let's say 10 minutes later, it may be out of range for 50 minutes. And so having a tighter range isn't necessarily going to be better in this case if Sol moves out. So I like the 20 bin 0.2% because I feel like it's a tight enough range to earn good fees, but also not too tight. So that way you can still, it'll auto rebalance at a good rate and you'll stay in range for most of the time.
It sounds good. And Daty is asking for the referral code in chat. It has been posted above 008724A. And before we jump in and put it in, yes, HawkFi, it gives you the Met points. And as far as I know from speaking to the team, you get all of the Met points. They just take 8% of your rewards. So they don't take any of your Met points that you're going to accrue.
Yep, so and you get Hawk. You'll accrue Hawk, the airdrop, Hawk points for the airdrop.
Exactly. And it's also very important that we mention that don't go and buy their old token Hawk. It's been deprecated. Snapshot's already been taken. Don't go and do anything with it. Alrighty. So guide us through the next step, please, sir.
So this is your first time doing it. So it's just asking you to describe your knowledge. This is probably just for like survey reasons so they know what kind of users are using their product. But you can put whatever you feel comfortable with, Seb.
Okay. Well, I generally do. I'm far more passive, but I'm becoming more active. And I've been LPing for many years. And I've already
That's 3
put
months
in.
or less. So you would probably do 1 year
Oof.
or more, right?
Sorry, I thought that was 3 years.
No, you're good.
And then for whatever reason, I'm just going to put my referred by account there, create this HawkFi account.
And if you don't put it there, you can always retroactively do it. So
cool. There's a little bit of a SOL position. That's a little bit of SOL to create this account.
Yeah, which is rent, which you won't get back because you'll never close this. Now, when you create a position, you'll pay rent that you get back when you close it. But the actual account as a whole, you won't. Cool. So just like on Meteora, you're gonna set it up the exact same way. So you choose this strategy: spot, curve, or bid ask. In this instance, we're gonna do the spot because it's a genuinely good all-around strategy. Then you can set your price range here. I'm actually gonna have you reduce this a little bit, and so I want you to bring the left in. The default is 69 bins, but we're actually gonna bring it in, and I want you to bring it in just like 5 bins on the left and about 4 on the right, which, yeah, that's fine. Do that. It'll tell you how many are in the bottom right. So you can see 64, go all the way down to 58. Yeah, actually go up 1 on the right and go down 1 on the left. We'll do that. Yeah. Yeah. So you're at 58 total.
Okay, sorry.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
No, you're good. This is the first time you're using it, so you're getting used to it. So you can see the minimum and maximum price. Oh, you have?
I have, but this is good. Cool. A minimum price, maximum price. Fantastic.
Perfect. Okay, so you have the number of bins. It shows based on that how much you'll earn currently, which is around the 0.55%. If you wanted to set a stop loss or take profit, you can. We're not worried about that because if the value of it goes down, that's okay. We're just going to keep growing and earning more and more SOL. And then as the price of it would come back up, we're good. So then we want, depending on how much you want to put in. So where it says manual fill, just click that and it'll swap to autofill. Yep. And then put in, are you putting in all of this USDC, the $441?
Yeah, I was thinking we'll put in $2,000.
You need some more USDC, it looks like.
Yeah. I'll just jump into swap here. Maybe like 3. Swap that, confirm that.
Yeah, it's about right.
And then I'm just going to work out what exactly is $1,000. 4.3. Okay, so
and it'll auto do it. So refresh there. There's a little refresh balance on the right.
Perfect.
And then you can put 1,000 and it'll autofill the other side. Yep.
All right, amazing.
There you go. And so this is all just you seeing your fee structure and all that kind of stuff. And so from there, you can just confirm. You'll sign. It'll go through all the steps. And then it'll automatically have auto compounding of fees on the pool. If you don't want that, you need to turn it off. And then to set up the auto rebalance, I'll show you how to do that once this is done, but you'll need to go to the configure out on your pool. Now, usually it'll pop up with a little box that lets you do that first. But if you do exit out of that and you need to go back, we can show you where you do that as well. So right here, you can see it says checkmark auto compound, and then you can see the auto rebalance. And so you can click the auto rebalance and you'll checkmark it. Now there's 2 that they will have, time-based and event-based, but as of right now, event-based is in the works. So you want to set a slippage. I would set 2%. This is a new thing. Just do a fixed amount. Dynamic isn't available yet. I would do 2%. And most likely Sol doesn't have any issue with slippage usually. And so 2% should be fine. And then we'll do the follow price up or down. You could set it to just one or the other, but we want it to follow it if it goes out of range either direction. If you're not wanting to rebalance something when it goes down, then obviously you just set it to rebalance when it goes up, or maybe not at all. And then you can see here, we need to adjust the bins. So after it rebalances, if you don't set this less, then yeah, just click on it. Then it will, because we set it down to 58 bins. So it'll auto do the other side. So just bring that to 29, I think it is. Yeah.
I can do 58 or 50. I can do 57 or 58.
Yeah, just do 59. That's fine. We're basically just tightening up the 20 bin pool just slightly. And so it'll do that. And then it'll also choose the strategy. If you wanted to rebalance it into a different strategy, we'll just keep it on spot. And so you can save and close. And this is also where you would do your take profit and stop loss. Now, you saved it. Go ahead and click on your pool right there. Yep. And so all the different adjustments to the pool are all right here. So you can see deposit, withdraw, rebalance, close, claim, and then configure. And so if you click on configure, that's where you would make the adjustments if you wanted to change any of those things right there.
Perfect. So we'll just see how this goes.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's take a couple of questions and then let's hear about how you did on Magic Eden and how you did today. So
yeah,
Real asks, what does HawkFi do? And the easiest way to answer this, I would kind of say that it's like a beginner's way to get into Meteor and using the DLMM function. It allows you to do like a stop loss. So if you go into a meme coin in Sol or whatever, and it just tanks, well, if it drops too much, it will sell to Sol. And also you can take profit if you want to take profit. It does have a fee structure, but I think it's a very useful tool. And it's a good thing to use maybe in conjunction with Meteora or before like really getting into Meteora. That's my take. What's your take, Master?
Yeah.
Meteora, man.
I mean, I think you could do Meteora or this first. Basically, HawkFi is an automation tool which is connected to Meteora and Orca. So they use both Orca CLMMs. It's kind of the OG concentrated pools. And Meteora is the new DLMM, a little bit more advanced structure. But it connects to both of them. And so if you're using either of these, but you want it to be slightly more automated or a little more passive, then you would want to use HawkFi. And so it's an automation system that basically allows you to connect to any of the pools that are on Meteora or Orca. And then you can set up some different auto rebalancing, auto compounding situations or systems to help you if maybe you can't look at it or be on it all the time. And so it could be a good entry, or if you don't have the time, right, to be able to stay on top of different pools and stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah. We have our next question. Who pays rebalancing fees on that platform?
So I mean, the user does, yeah.
So there's like but how does it work in terms of the gas fee? Do they kind of take the gas fee from the rewards or something like
Correct.
that? Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So if you click on the pool itself and go to configure and go to auto rebalance, so click on the pool, it actually tells you, it doesn't tell you why, but it does give you an example. There you go. And then click configure, auto rebalance. And so if you scroll down here, see right there during the follow up and down, see it says every 1 hour, if the pool price is out of range and position balance is greater than $100. So make sure that you have money in there, and then get out of the auto rebalance and go to auto compound.
Sorry, back into this auto compound.
Yeah, and then auto compound. And same thing here. See how it says unclaimed fees and rewards. If they're greater than 0.02 and your position balance is greater than $100. So they make sure that there's money in there and it's not just a little bit, right? Because if you only have like 20 or 30 bucks in there, then obviously the fees of claiming and auto compounding would come out of that and it would hurt you more. And so basically if you have more than $100 and the fees and rewards are above 0.02, it'll auto compound. And then for auto rebalancing, it makes sure you have money in there as well, because it does use your money to do it. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's answered the question.
Yep.
And how exactly is it rebalancing? I imagine it's just doing a swap inside the pool.
Correct. Yeah. So when you do a stop loss and take profit as well, what it will actually do is it'll actually swap. Because like if you think about it, whenever you close out of a pool, if you still have the token left, but this is all automated, then whenever you swap out of it, the token then could go down over time. And so when it does its take profit and stuff like that, it'll actually sell the token for like Sol or something like that. And so it does the same thing. So it can do swaps automatically, which is what it does when it rebalances. It will, let's say you have $100 and you have $50 of Sol and $50 of USDC and it goes up. and you now have $125 worth of SOL in USDC, but you have mostly USDC because the price has gone up. Well, when it goes to rebalance, it'll need to balance it out. Any leftover USDC that's needed, it'll or any SOL that's needed, it'll sell the USDC, and then until it's equal again, except for obviously the fees, it'll calculate that out, and then it'll rebalance it that way. Yep.
Cool.
So then you would have, if it was worth 125 total, it would be, roughly $62.50 each afterwards. But yeah.
Excellent. And then Kuon here, if our position jumps out of range, but later it comes back, will it reactivate automatically as well? Well, I guess when you're using HawkFi, that's more like if you're using Meteor directly. If you're using HawkFi, you're ideally rebalancing it most of the time. But there may be times when you decide not to rebalance, I imagine, and just compound, right?
Yeah, so specifically for HawkFi, it checks it every hour. So let's say it just checked, and then 10 minutes later it goes out of range. It'll wait 50 minutes. So in that time period, if it comes back into range, it's in range now. So when it checks again, it wouldn't auto rebalance it. But if it's out of range still, then it will rebalance it. So it checks that every hour. So I guess like worst case scenario, your pool would be unbalanced for an hour and 59 minutes if it literally just checked 1 minute ago. And then, or I guess, no, just an hour. It'd be an hour. Because if it just checked it even a minute ago, it would be 59 minutes later. Most of the time, it's probably going to be more like 30 minutes or less that you're waiting on that. But yeah, if on Meteor, you would just manually auto rebalance. I normally auto rebalance pools when they reach around 80 to 90% either way. That way there's a little bit left over, and then you can rebalance it before it even goes out of range if you're manually doing that yourself.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, that's all I really want to share on HawkFi, just to kind of wet the whistle a little bit. Did you want to share your screen and go over how you went with Magic Eden and any strategies you've been doing today? I know you were doing Gooch Coin. I'd love to know how you thought that could run and, just as a refresh. And then finally, to end things, if we've got time, it'd be cool to find out anything you wish you knew 3 months ago when this was it was a little bit more under the radar than what it is now. Does that sound okay with you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Hit me with the one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'll remove my screen if you want to share yours.
Oh yeah, I need to share that.
If that suits you.
Yep.
And for anyone watching, like, if someone has the time, then just tune in to TokenGuys live streams. Also, Fee Printers Discord, tune into everything they're doing there. I think this would probably be the smartest way to start from, I don't know, $10,000 and grow it to 100. And you've got a pretty cool challenge on, which would be you can tell us about as well if you've got time.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what was the first question you wanted to ask?
So Gooch Coin, this I started watching your stream in between doing some silly videos, and this was printing. And I'd love to know what you're looking at when you even worked out. I mean, I already know a few of the basic things, but sometimes it's nice to have a reiteration on stuff. You're looking at volume, and you put in some range bets there, and you decided to enter it. You also decided to buy some because you thought it would pump, and then it ended up doing pretty well. So just love to know, like, how do you know that this was worthy of DLMMing?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So basically we're just looking at why, like, what do I look at in a coin to determine if it's good? And really the idea is just to look at a bunch of coins that are doing well. And then from there can determine, okay, is this one that I think will do well over the long term? Is this more short term, stuff like that? And so the number one thing I look at is volume. And so whatever site you use, Deck Screener, Bird Eye, I've been recently, or very recently, like today, using Good Morning, Good Night. They have some sort of trending page, I'm sure. And so you can go to like the trending page, and I go to like the 5 minute, and then you can click on volume here, or you can just look at what's trending, right? And so basically you just are looking for coins like this, even before they're trending. If you do volume and they're starting to pick up volume, they'll actually pop up sometimes before they're like way higher on trending on the 5-minute volume or on a different range, right? So you can use sites like this. Also, being a part of Feed Printers Discord, there's people that will post stuff in there that I'll check out. Sometimes I'll be on Twitter and I'll see someone. So I would say between the website, Twitter, and Discord community, all three of those is where I kind of find stuff. Either someone's already posted about it or I see it and I think it's going to do well. Also, we use the Vector app, which you could just use this because it's similar as far as like finding things with good volume. And you can even see like there's a blue chip index that that Good Morning Goodnight has. It says like Fartcoin is a blue chip index, is the ratio of holders who also own other blue chip tokens. And you can see that like even though Gooch Coin launched today, it's actually at 3.6%, which if you look at a lot of other tokens, it's actually like that's actually fairly high, right? You can see FWOG is one that's 6.7. And so there's different metrics on different sites you can use like this to get an idea of like what's good or what's not. For me, that didn't have this percentage yet. I just looked at the volume and saw it was really high. I went into the Discord and one other person had actually just posted about it and was like, hey, I see this coin. And so then I clicked on it. I'll go through the full process of what I thought because I actually thought that it could be a rug at one point. And the reason why is because I had just started using Good Morning Goodnight. And so on here, I was looking at it and over to the right side, it says rug possibility 100%. And it has a little man running. And so I was like, oh, snap. And so I had gotten in around the 3.5 million market cap range. I had looked on the Twitter and I had also seen somebody post in the Vector app with a little comment that said, this is going to be the next fart coin. And so I looked into it because I see people say stuff like that all the time, but it's not necessarily true. And so I looked into it and it did look like it was Cerebro, which is obviously really big, had posted about it. And so Fartcoin came out of GOAT and Truth Terminal. And so with Cerebro, this is a whole new thing. And it posted about Gooch Coin. Obviously, the name is kind of silly. It seems like it could work well. It had a lot of volume. It had a lot of good movement. I looked on Twitter. Tons of people were posting about it. And so I was like, oh, it's doing really well. So I got into it. It did well.
Can I
Then
ask you one thing? When you're on Twitter, did you just search for the contract address and that's how you decided? Or were people doing like $Gooch or something?
Yeah, the ticker. Yeah. So you would do, is Gooch is the ticker, right? Or is it's Gooch Coin? I forget what I put. I think the ticker is maybe Gooch Coin. Maybe it's just Gooch. Let's see. I forget what I typed in at the time. Yeah, like this. And so you can see like if you just do the latest here, you can look at the top, but then you can look at latest. And you can see all these were posted today. This was posted 9 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds. So you can see even within the last minute, there's a bunch of people that are posting about it. And you can keep going on to look. Now, a lot of these posts don't necessarily get engagement, but it does show that people are talking about it, which is good. And then you can look at the ones that have more engagement, right? And kind of go from there. I also looked at their Twitter, which is here. And you want to make sure it's a real Twitter account, right? Like you want to make sure it's actually active because I've gone to coins that are doing really well and then their account had like nothing on it, right? Now, this is actually, their Twitter is like a group that they created, I guess. But you can see like there's a lot of posts and they have like, over 100 likes and stuff like that. And so on some of them, 50 likes on other ones. And so overall, you can see that like people are chatting in here about it and there's a decent amount of engagement. So I'm like, okay, this looks like a real Twitter. It looks like it has a decent amount of engagement. And then I kind of determined from there based on all of those factors. I also look at the top 10%, which in the top right on Good Morning Goodnight is 15% in the top 10 holder count. All the audit stuff is safe as well, which you can click here and look at it and determine that. And then, yeah, I did all that. It had high volume. And so I got into it. Now, what happened was I did all that and it looked good, but then it was dipping. And I saw this rug 100% thing and someone else posted about it. And I was like, oh, snap. So I actually ended up selling here. And then a few people told me that this actually isn't super accurate. And that like apparently the dev that had it ended up selling it like super early on. So initially it looked like it was, but it didn't update the fact that he had already sold it. Because these were all like the dev wallets he had created. And so it's cool that they give this, but somebody used a different site, I think Rug Checker, which again, this is good to be in a Discord like Feed Printers because other people were checking it and they're like, no, it's good. So at that point, it was coming back up to around the 4.5 million market cap range. a bunch of people were doing really well with it. So I got back in, and then that's whenever I had gotten on the stream. Wasn't too long after that. And it was obviously doing really well, ripping up. And at that point, I believed in it. I saw it wasn't a rug. And so whenever it broke above its previous all-time high, that's when I started buying in and kind of believing in it more.
Oh, awesome. And then what did you make out of it? What did you make out of this? Like how much were you DLMing?
So I was DLMing around initially only a few thousand, but once I saw that I thought it was pretty legit and it started to break above to like the 5-6 million market cap, I ended up doing, I think it was around 15 or 16,000 total between the Sol and the Gooch token that I provided. And I ended up earning, so the fees, I ended up earning about 1,100 in fees. And then I actually closed out of my pool at one point when it was at the bottom. I forget where that was, maybe like down here. And then I actually was like, I'm going to hold it because, yeah, I remember it being right here because I was thinking to myself, if it breaks below these supports, but I kind of gave it a little bit of grace because I was like, it's real close and I think it could do well. And then when it broke back, so I closed out of the pool down here, but I waited. And as it rose back up, basically when I had my pool, it went down. And so when it went down, I bought up a bunch of it. And so then whenever I closed out of it, I was holding a bunch of the token, but then it went up in price. So then I sold it up here. Obviously, if I would have held it longer, I would have made even more. But I ended up making about 2,000 here. So I made about 3,000 total in about an hour or two, maybe. I don't remember exactly.
Awesome. I personally prefer that you have like a decent strategy as opposed to if I just hold it. Like, I mean, maybe you would want to hold 5% or 10%. But I feel if you have that kind of mentality of, oh, if I just held it, a little longer, then you'll probably overall, I imagine that 10K to 100K challenge would actually go slower because you'd be holding all these ones that weren't winners. What do you think?
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So I like that you said that I have like a strategy because I think a lot of people don't necessarily do that. Could I have made more money? Yes, but I also could have lost more money. Not every coin that goes up keeps going up. I mean, none of them keep going up forever, but there's many coins that do well, just like this one, and they die off at 8 million, at 5 million, at 10 million, right? So you just don't know. And I don't like to get greedy. I would much rather just take my profit and move on and not really worry about it because honestly, I got back into the token later on as well, which I can talk about. But yeah, so my strategy is basically if I can earn 30 or 40% every time, then over time, I'm going to end up having a ridiculous compounded amount of money that I'll make, right? Like if I can do that. Now, many times I don't earn 30 or 40. Sometimes I'm earning 5, 10, or 20, but that's kind of my max to where I'm like, all right, I don't want to get greedy. If I get up to that point, then I just sell and I'm out and I'm good. And then on the stop loss side, I usually don't let myself lose too much either. I have a even shorter on the stop loss of around that 20 to 30%. And so basically I try to minimize my losses as best as possible and capitalize on my wins without getting too greedy. Because I've seen a lot of people let it go up and then they get greedy and then they let it come back down and then they think to themselves, well, I held this long. Let me just hold a little longer. It'll probably pump back up. And it goes down a little more. And it's like, well, it's almost back to where I started. I might as well hold it. It's got to go back up now, right? And I've seen people round trip 10, 20 grand, of gains all the way back down to nothing or even a loss because they just believed in it so much, right? And there is a level of conviction. I think that's good. But you don't want to have so much conviction that you don't use your brain and you don't take profits when you should, right? I would call that emotional conviction, not necessarily being smart, having smart conviction.
Gotcha. I love it. I love having strategies and not just getting lucky. Yeah. Nick ask, what is the biggest win and the biggest loss that you've had so far?
So, I mean, trading wise, someone asked me this earlier. I can talk about my DLMM. My biggest trade was actually with the major token because there were some people who got into it that I really believed in. And they told me they thought it was going to do good. And, I hadn't really I just started gaining a lot more. on my portfolio, and I was like, there's multiple times I've put in like $2,000 to $5,000 on coins like this, and they end up doing really well, and I make like $3,000 or $4,000. So I actually put $15,000 into Major when it was at 4 million market cap. And I DCA'd out when it hit 20, when it hit 30, when it hit 40, when it hit 50, when it hit 60. I sold like a little bit at a time, all the way up until it was like 80 or 90 thousand. And so I think I ended up making like $30,000 total from that 15,000. So that was like my biggest trade. DLMM wise, my biggest was, I don't remember the exact coin, but I've done this like twice. I think I made around $10,000 to $12,000 in profit, which was about 120%. Both times I put in around like 8 to 10K, and I held them for about 3 days, and they were doing like almost 40 to 50% the whole 3 days. And I ended up earning about 120% return total on those. And that was, I think one of them was GOAT. I don't remember what the other one was, but yeah, that was really good.
Nice. I would, this is a good time to have this question. Can I show your screen again?
Yeah. Is there anything?
No, just visually it looks better. If
Cool.
But M3, I imagine you would have got a sizable airdrop of M3 due to the fact that the first airdrop was given to people that were using Meteora as a power user. Did you have a couple of wallets qualify?
Yeah, I had 2 wallets qualify, or no, 3 wallets. Sorry, qualify. My big wallet, my main wallet, I got $3,000 airdropped, which I don't remember how much that was at the time. That was when it was kind of, I don't remember exactly what it was at, but I think there was a time in which it pumped pretty hard, but it wasn't like that far off of that. I think that 3,000 may have been about 4 to 4,500 at the top. I sold half of it and DLMM'd it, I think, initially. Or no, I just DLMM'd it initially and made some more money off of it. And then eventually I sold it when it went up just a little bit. And then I got only about $600 worth. I say only, it's free money. It's pretty sweet. I got $600 worth on 2 different wallets that I had.
And you sold those?
Yes. Well, I DLMM'd them and then I sold them. Yeah.
So I guess you would. So overall, you're not bullish enough to stake you, or it's just not your kind of game.
So yeah, so I've been a part of a lot of different platforms in the past, and so I am very hesitant to stake anything like Magic Eden, M3, a lot of these different things, because I don't like my tokens being locked up. I've been bullish on Jupe for a long time, and I locked them up for like a short amount of time. Same with Bonk. I locked them up for a little while because of the benefits, and I just couldn't let them sit there. The reason why is because I like being liquid. I don't like my money being locked up. I like having it available to use it to do other things. Committing to 30 days or 90 days of my money being locked and having no idea what that team's going to do, if the token price is going to go down or not, even if the rewards seem really good, it's just not worth it to me. And so I get people like it and they do it, but for me, it's just not that great. Now, the overall product of M3, I think is a cool idea. And I think it adds an extra dimension to people who are launching tokens and wanting to have some rewards given back to their holders, their big holders. And so I think it's cool overall. I would use it if I created like something in the future. So I think it's really cool. I just, again, as far as speculating on value, I have no idea what the token's going to do.
Awesome. Cool. Let's scroll back to ask this previous question, and then a couple more questions, and then maybe just end on your 2K or 2K to 100K challenge. So can I ask, if your pool hits the upper edge of your pool and it pumps out of your range by a decent margin, will rebalancing result in realizing impermanent loss?
If your pool hits your upper edge of your pool, so it's going up, and it pumps out of your range by a decent margin, will rebalancing result in realizing impermanent loss? So impermanent loss technically does go both ways, but it's more, I don't like calling it impermanent loss when it goes up, because you're not losing, you've gained money. So I like calling it potential loss, or like a lost potential gain. And so on the downside, if it goes out of your range, and you rebalance it, yes, you've realized that loss. Now, if it comes back up the same way, you now are basically back to where you started, except you've earned fees both ways, so you could be up in that regard. As far as it going up, the reason they do call it impermanent loss on the way up is because you could have made more money if you just held the token and sold higher than if you DCA out of the token. So as the token moves up, you're selling out of it into whatever the other token is, like Solana, for instance. And so you could have made more if you just held the token. What they don't consider is the overall profit you would gain from the fees you earn along the way. And so I don't consider it a loss or realizing a loss, because if it's going up in value, then you're earning. But it technically is considered a loss. It's more of a potential loss than an actual loss because you earn money.
Awesome. Thank you. We have this other question here. Do you need trading experience to start DLMMing, or can you do it without previous experience? Also, thank you. I don't have trading experience, but I'd say you definitely want to be able to draw ranges on a chart. Would that be your advice there?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, like, it definitely helps. You could do it like Sol USDC without drawing ranges, right? You basically would just say, I need, you just need to get Sol USDC, and you would need to watch that and just watch the price of Sol, right, going up and down. So on the basic level, that's all you need, is just to be able to watch it and know when to get out or when to not, kind of depending. But you definitely want some information, some knowledge. But to get started on that level, I think you don't need a ton of like trading experience for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, well, to end off, I think we won't take any more questions, but do want to hear a little bit of an update on what days you're live streaming so that people can catch it. Ideally, what kind of general time period. The best way, I guess, just follow you with notifications on, and also to join the Fee Printers Discord. And then this current challenge that you're on sounds pretty cool, and I'd be keen to know what you think, how long you think it'll take to get there.
Yeah, so it just depends. So first, I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 11 a.m. roughly. Sometimes it changes a little bit, but 11 a.m. EST and 4 p.m. UTC. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then sometimes on Fridays, which tomorrow I will be streaming again. And my 100K challenge, I basically have a wallet that I've made public, which it's not doing great right now, but we'll work it back up. The main reason is because I sent a little over $2,000 in Sol to the wallet, and then Sol dumped. And so that little over 2,000 actually went down to like 1,800 like overnight. And I was like, well, dang, that kind of messes it up, but it's fine. I'll work it back up. And then I've traded some in and out and lost a little bit on it because I honestly haven't put a ton into it, ton of effort. I will be putting more into it. The goal isn't to obviously I manage multiple wallets, and so it will be a little different than if I just managed it all on its own. But my goal to get to 100K would probably be about three to 4 months. And so obviously 3 to 4 months may seem like a long time, but starting from $2,000, I think that would be pretty cool. So it'll be a combination of DLMMing and just trading. I think to be able to do that, I'll definitely have to hit some good runners, like get a good like 2x or so here or there, which I think I can do. I tried to do that with Goochcoin today and I ended up messing it up, but I think we'll be able to hit some more like that as we go. So I'm kind of trying to be patient, not trying to just trade a bunch of stuff, just trade the right thing. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. We'll take one final question, and thanks very much for your time and insight. And I will be watching you far more live, to be perfectly honest, because I would love to turn $2,000 into $100,000 in a few months. Or I'll start with more than $2,000. I'll probably start at like 15, 20. Because the other thing that we haven't mentioned is like, and we can talk about this maybe next live stream, but the Meteora airdrop will be freaking epic. And it's underfarmed. Yep. It's not, I did not do well with Magic Eden. I didn't go and link wallets or claim the OG bonus, but I did very poorly. And I think Meteora will be like, it'll probably be $1 billion airdrop. No, maybe not that. That's a little bit too. I think it'll be a $500 million airdrop potentially. So if you can go and grab 100,000 tokens, absolutely amazing.
So I did a quick little math thing, just real quick for you. So if you're using the calculator, if you had $15,000 and you just earned 3% a day, which I think is very doable with the state of the market, in 2 months, if you compound that every single day, you can get it all the way to 93, 94,000. So I think in 2 months you can do it, Seb.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I'm actually aiming far more than that. I just think it's not.
Oh, good.
It's not a smart move to go public. It's not a smart move to dox a wallet that you run up to ideally millions, right?
Yeah. I'll probably undox, or not undox, but swap it off after we get to the 100K, right? We'll see.
Yeah, and the only unfortunate thing with this, and it's not unfortunate, it's just the way it is. It's harder to do this sort of stuff now. So if you're going to be really successful, it's not a 30 minutes a day. It's not an ad workout. It's not an infomercial. It's 6 hours. 6 hours or sometimes more, sometimes less, but I would say quite often more, right?
Yeah, 4 to 8. Yeah.
Perfect. So final question, and then we'll let you go. Thanks very much. Dala would love to know how would would love an example of choosing pools 1% versus 2 versus 5% base fee. What do you know?
Yes, I would say the simplest version of, or the simplest way I can explain this is the fee that you charge will determine what people pay. But if there's a lot of competition, so if you look at Sol USDC, all the top pools are anywhere between 0.01 all the way up to like 0.2%, right? So you don't see many pools that are above that. All the top pools have low fees, right? And so the reason that is because the market cap of Solana is very, very high. And because there's so much competition, when someone's swapping between Sol USDC, there's pools on Orca, on Radium, on Meteora, and you want people to swap through your pool, right? And so you need to be competitive on the fee. So a lower fee means it's more likely that the swaps will go through your pool. Now, if you set the fee too low, then the pool won't do very well, which is why you can see there's these high bin step, which means a high range, and low fee structures that don't do as well as some of these up here. But so you want to kind of balance between having a low enough fee to be competitive, but not too low, because then you won't earn as much. And so higher market cap coins need that have more competition because people trust them more, need lower fees. And newer coins, there's not a lot of competition, so you can have a higher fee because people are more likely to use your pool even with those higher fees. And so I would say you only really want to use 5% on brand new launches. Something that's like really moving fast, high volume, you would use 5%. Other than that, I would say coins that have a lot of volume and not a ton of competition. So like a mid-cap coin, you could go as high as 2% fee. Sometimes the 1% is better though, because there's someone else with the 2% and you can earn a pretty good chunk with the 1% and it's more competitive. So you see more action. And so overall, I'd say that's pretty good. On meme coins, anything that's going to be like a mid cap or even like low cap that's been around a while that has decent volume, 1 to 2% is probably going to be pretty good. And then once they get into the higher cap, you'll need to go less than that, like a 0.8 or 0.6%. A great example of that would be like TokenGuy. You can see TokenGuy has been around a while, and you can see there are some 1 and 2% pools. The 1% does okay, but the ones that have like 0.2 and 0.15% actually do much better. And so these coins that have sat around a while ended up being need to be lower. And you can see this is Mana. This is a mid cap, like just over 20 million market cap. And so you can see right in here, it's like between 0.6 and 2. So hopefully that gives you a good idea.
Mana's printing. Are you still in Mana, or have you exited?
No, I'm still in Mana. It's a little on the downside right now, so I'm hoping it'll come back up. Oh wait, am I in Mana? I thought I was.
Maybe this is a different wallet.
Yeah, I thought I was in Mana. Maybe I just bought Mana and I haven't been DLMing it. It's just been sitting in my wallet. Yeah, it's just sitting there. So I guess I went to go make the pull, and either I didn't do it or it didn't go through successfully. But I'm going to go set that back up now. So
cool. And I know that I've said this before, but last question: you're still an ME in Sol. Why right now? The fees have kind of dropped down significantly. Are you kind of treating this like a bit of a Sol USDC pool? Just when you don't have anything exciting, this feels pretty stable or earn some sort of yield?
No, you can see I actually set this up. This isn't earning anything for me right now. So this pool was actually set up as a way to DCA out of it. So it was just, it's sitting in my wallet. I had some me that I had set up a 2-sided pool on. The price of me went down. And so I said, instead of just sitting in my wallet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a 1-sided pool here so that when Sol enters into this range here, I'll start to sell and DCA out of it. But I'll also earn fees. And if it moves up and down through here as well, then we'll do that. So this isn't actually a pool that I'm trying to earn on. This is just a DCA out kind of strategy to earn some fees as well. That way I don't have to manually go sell it or anything like that. I do have a me pool on my other wallet that's still going because I entered into it a little bit lower, and it's on a 2-sided pool. And it's doing pretty well. And I treat it kind of like Sol USDC in that it's a lower yielding kind of earning. And I do expect me to come back up over time. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Gooch is still printing with someone that was watching your stream. So good work there. And last question, I'll answer this. You do not register for Met's airdrop. You literally just take a wallet, get a whole lot of value, get some Met points, and a snapshot will be taken, or there'll be multiple snapshots and whatnot. So for now.
All right. Last question.
Yeah. Okay.
For the 5th time.
Cool. Yeah. For the 5th time. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you next week. But in the meantime, or we'll catch you soon. But in the meantime, I'll put your Twitter below. Make sure you're watching him Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pretty much. Yeah.
Every day but Tuesday.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks again. Cheers.
All right. See you.
Bye.